My, your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and a new rumour is doing the round, and this is a rumour as things stands, even though the press and media seem to be pushing it as an absolute, so take it with a grain of salt. But according to some sort of source from somewhere, Aaron Taylor Johnson has officially been offered the role of James Bond, and he hasn't accepted it as of yet. So we're going to have a look at this because, as I said, the media and stuff are making this massive deal of he is the new James Bond, that he has been given the offer, but apparently this is coming from a source from somewhere. So we'll have a look. So it says James Bond favourite Aaron Taylor Johnson offered 007 role. The formal offer is on the table. So Kick-Ass and Bullet Train star Aaron Taylor Johnson has reportedly been chosen as the next James Bond, according to some mysterious sources. As per a report by the British newspaper The Sun, what an absolute trash rag that paper is, Taylor Johnson has been offered the role of the next 007 following Daniel Craig's departure from the role in 2021's No Time to Die. He didn't just leave, they blew him to hell. With production aiming to begin as soon as later this year. And this is what comes from The Sun. They say, Bond is Aaron's job, should he wish to accept it. The formal offer is on the table and they are waiting to hear back. As far as Eon is concerned, Aaron is going to sign his contract in the coming days and they can start prepping for the big announcement. Now, the rest of this little article part says the studio that makes the Bond movies, Eon Productions, has reportedly now offered the role to Taylor Johnson and are awaiting the actor to sign a contract immediately with a big announcement planned. And then it says, we suggest that you take these rumours and the words of these sources with a little pinch of salt. Now, he has originally said that he's dropped out, like he did audition apparently, but he was just like, I'm not really in the running, and they were looking for other people. He wouldn't be your typical casting for Bond in the sense of his age. He's quite young. Now, they did say they wanted a younger actor, obviously because they want to span him across multiple movies. But again, if this is coming from The Sun, I think we could take it with a good pinch of salt. However, he has been the one name that's been really floating about for quite a while regarding being the next James Bond. So would he be a good choice? Yeah, I think so. You know, he's definitely, he doesn't particularly have to look, but he does have the acting chops. You know, never mind Kick-Ass. Watch him in Bullet Train and you'll see what we mean. He does have that kind of swagger to him where he can pull off the humour as well. And of course, you could always check him out to see a bit more of his action style with Godzilla. He of course was in Godzilla 2014. As for him being James Bond, in the sense of James Bond coming back, I've no confidence in them making a new Bond and it being James Bond. And what I mean by that is, we know they completely reworked the script for No Time to Die because it had to be James Bond in the Me Too era. It was like, what? And then he was constantly being put down by all the women and all this crap, and you know, they killed him in the end. Like, they blew him to hell. So obviously we'd be starting from scratch again, which means I don't see how they would bring back anyone that was involved in the last few movies, which isn't exactly a terrible thing, but it's not great either because it means you're recasting everybody, but you're just going to restart all the stories that we know and we love, and then he's going to start getting the unfair comparison to previous Bonds. Now, that always happens anyway, but in terms of if his first movie, if he is in fact cast, and they decide, okay, that we're going to redo one of the books to start with, let's do Dr. No. he's gonna have the absolute unfair comparison to Sean Connery then. And, you know, I don't trust them to make up their own stories, because we've seen what happens when they do make up their own stories. You know, they kind of go a bit too out there and fail quite a bit. You know, you kind of look at them and go, Jesus, this is terrible. Just look at, what do you call it? Quantum of Solace. Good God. But again, if they start redoing the books, he ends up having the unfair comparison to whatever actor played Bond in whichever story from the book it is. I suppose they could always start with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because that movie sucks. Great music, but God, the movie sucks. There's actually a lot of people who like it, surprisingly. I really dislike it. It's one of the longest Bond movies as well. I think it's like almost 3 hours, if I remember. I hate it. So one of the biggest problems I have with it is it stays in the one location. It's not a typical James Bond movie where he's going around to all these exotic places. He literally goes into the snowy mountains and stays there for the entire movie. It sucked. But there you go. The rumour apparently is Aaron Taylor Johnson up for the role, that he's formally been offered it, waiting for him to accept it. I like the way they say it's his if he chooses to accept it and stuff. He's James Bond, not Mission Impossible. But anyway, with that, I will leave it there for this one. So like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And with that, cheers. Catch you in the next one.